Okay, and we're live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another live stream today, Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m., I believe. Coming in a few minutes earlier today, Sunday, considering that there is not a football match being played at the moment. The quarterfinals out of the way, now down to the semi-finals. England going out yesterday, of course, joining all of the other teams that have dropped out of the competition over the last 3 weeks or so. Some big names dropping out of that tournament. Now, we'll go through some of the news that's caught my attention today, some of the comments that were left on videos recently too, and we'll also go into the chat section here and see what's happening. Plenty of activity already. I can see Mugger coming in from El Campello down there in Alicante. Erica coming in from a cold Terrassa. Barbara, Playa Flamenco, or Playa Flamenca, I should say, sorry. Alan coming in from El Puerto, finally back. Alan in Spain, has left San Diego, back in Spain. Good to see Alan. Hope the trip went well. Saw your email earlier. We'll get back to you with regard to that. Erica, not much rain there in Catalonia apparently. Tony coming in from Toronto. And Jan coming in from a chilly London, -2 degrees Celsius there at the moment. Very chilly in the UK. Not too bad here, around 12 degrees Celsius today, but wet most of the day. And we'll have a look at why the weather is bad here in Spain in a moment. First news, this one here. The government entrusts construction with the role of economic engine in 2023. The execution of tens of billions of European funds in 2023 will bring the construction sector back with a vengeance to the Spanish economy just a decade after it hit rock bottom following the 2008 financial crisis. It is something that is not visible yet, or not yet visible, but will materialize in the first half of next year when the volume of tenders already awarded starts to be executed. We're going to make a big fuss about the work. Spain is undergoing reforms, and we're going to see it, the government warns. 2023 will be an election year, municipal and regional elections in May and general elections in December. There will not be time to cut the ribbon for the inauguration, but the momentum of the construction sector can already be seen in the acceleration of the pace of tenders. 24 billion euros up to last October, in which local councils are pulling spending, with the Community of Madrid leading the autonomous area and the Ministry of Transport doing the same in the central administration. And no doubt anybody living here in Spain at the moment has seen works being done in their local municipality or local council, because as we know, they have money to spend, that European money, and they're doing different things to make these cities and towns greener, which is the objective. Bike lanes, making them more accessible to people in wheelchairs and things like that. Things that should have been done 20 years ago but weren't for whatever reason. I had this discussion yesterday with somebody. I said, the place that I live in, all of the development has taken place in the last 20 years. Why didn't they put decent bike lanes in from day one? Why didn't they put decent access for people in wheelchairs, disabled people? Why didn't they do that? That is what I can't work out. People in wheelchairs and the like that have trouble moving around places like this because the infrastructure wasn't good from the beginning. That's the question. But anyway, they're spending money again now. So it seems to like a double spending, if you like. Why wasn't it done 20 years ago? If we're living in an old area, I can understand that this wasn't done 50 or 60 years ago. But we're talking the last 10, 15, 20 years of a lot of growth in this area where I'm living currently. But anyway, now the like button will go on the screen. Let's have a look. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video, we can see it down there in the corner. Just below the video, you will find the like button. Please hit it if you have not done so already. Back into the chat section here quickly. Let's see what's going on. Andrew coming in also from a cold London. Chris coming in from a rainy Valle del Sol. Good to see that there is some rain down there. Some of the drought-affected areas in the north of Spain, Galicia in particular, have seen their dams fill up again, which is good. Philippe coming in from Malaga, warm and wet. Warren coming in from a cold Cornwall, Ontario. hoping that it is the last winter that they spend in that country, heading to Spain, hopefully. Pamela coming in from Terreros, and Gino and Isabella coming in from Toronto. Good to see some regular viewers in the chat section this evening. Now, the second piece of news, let's have a look. This one here, European countries continue to overtake. Estonia overtakes Spain in terms of GDP per capita. Estonia surpassed Spain in GDP per capita last summer, according to the latest Eurostat data. The output per inhabitant of the small Baltic country was almost 7,000 euros between July and September, which is more than the 6,840 euros achieved by Spain in the same period. This is the culmination of a breakthrough that is no less newsworthy for having been expected. The strong growth experienced by the Baltic countries over the last 3 decades contrasts with the stagnation in Spain since the bursting of the real estate bubble a decade and a half ago. In just 5 years, 4 Euro countries have overtaken Spain in GDP per capita: Slovenia, Cyprus, Malta, and now Estonia. Next up is Lithuania, which in the third quarter fell less than 3% short of catching Spain. It is possible that in the very short term, Spain will regain this lost position, but the underlying trend suggests that they will consolidate their position above Spain in the medium term. These countries have taken great advantage of their entry into the European Union due to the disappearance of the barriers to the flow of goods and people. So interesting. Countries taking advantage of their position in the European Union and overtaking Spain in terms of GDP per capita. So Spain's stagnating, which is a bit of a shame. And as we know, anybody who's been in the country over the last 12 years or so will know that we did hit rock bottom 6, 7, 8 years ago. There was no lower that we could have gone. And these countries didn't go through the same problems that Spain did after that bubble burst. All of that money that was put into real estate took the wrong decisions, a lot of people in this country, and we paid the consequences, unfortunately, and still recovering. Anyway, now, like button back on the screen quickly. If you haven't hit it, please do so just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Around 100, let's see if we can get up to 100 likes. Let's try and be optimistic with regard to the like count today. Now, I'm going to change the backdrop. I've got a couple of backdrops to change to today. I'll put this one up here first from Bill, and it's Murcia, apparently. Not sure exactly where, but a nice view of the Mediterranean and a nice jetty going out to some type of pier there in the water, as we can see there. So thanks, Bill, for sending that picture in. Unfortunately, I can't remember the exact part of Murcia that it is, but I think you did say in your email. And if anybody's got a picture that they would like to see in the background here, the email address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com, or just get in touch. Feel free. Picture or not, just get in touch. Now, let's have a look at another part of the chat section. Remy coming in from Chile, San Feliu today. Janet coming in from Oxford, another regular. Killian coming in from, bonjour, vive la France. Obviously with regard to the football game yesterday. England going down because of that. Was it a penalty that Harry Kane missed? I think it was. Grant coming in from Seattle, Rory coming in from a wet Mallorca, and UB coming in from a grey and wet Pennsylvania, United States of America. And Richard also coming in from a cold, cloudy, drizzly Valencia, which is the characteristic here in Spain today. Drizzly, wet, cloudy, cold. I think we can use all of those words to describe Spain at the moment, or at least this part of the country. Maybe you are lucky and you are escaping the rainy weather, but for the majority of us, wet, wet, wet. Now, next piece of news. The EU, the European Union, to conduct first joint military exercises in Spain. The European Union is taking yet another step in the militarization undertaken to survive an unstable global scene. The EU will conduct its first joint military exercises in Spain in 2023, according to the EU's High Representative for Foreign and Security Policy, Josep Borrell. The first field exercise of its new military arm, the so-called Rapid Deployment Force, which will have up to 5,000 troops, will take place during the Spanish presidency of the European Union in the second half of next year. However, an important chapter has yet to be closed. How much will the training exercise cost, and how will they be financed? The manoeuvres are intended to be the first rehearsal for the launch of the force in 2025. So, joint military exercises in the European Union to be held in Spain next year. And as we see here, the European Union taking yet another step in the militarization undertaken to survive an unstable global scene. So, interesting piece of news. Up until now, each country in the EU has had its own army, and they've done joint operations, obviously, if they fall under the NATO banner. But now going forward with this, as we see here, this EU joint military, which I don't know how it's going to work, to be honest. I haven't looked into it, but I imagine that it's going to be taking, these events are going to be taking place more and more as the years go through. The European Union starting to invest in militarization. Interesting news. Interesting indeed. All right, good. What else we got going on here in the chat section quickly? Antonio coming in with Joanna from Arroyo de la Miel. It might be in Andalusia. Not sure, Antonio. Let us know. Elaine coming in from rainy New Jersey, also making Christmas cookies today. Rosemary coming in from Guardamar, rainy and cloudy also. Hi guys, is that politically incorrect? Not sure what it is referring to there. Whether it was something I said or not sure. What else we got going on? Killian, local council of Malaga, love to spend money. There we go. Not just in our urbanisation, but which is a mix of expats and Spanish. We don't even get Christmas lights. There we go. Yeah, spending money all over the place at the moment. Our local councils, not only on Christmas lights, but as I said, on lots of things to make the cities that we live in here friendlier, let's say. That's the idea for this European Union money. All right, what else we got going in? Welsh Toto coming in from a snowy Birmingham. And Bill, -8 or 8 below zero tonight forecast for Perthshire in Scotland. There we go. Very cold there. Kurt coming in from Florida. Don't know where in Florida that would be. Cape Coral. Not sure where that is. And Alan also in the chat section again. What else we got going on here? And relaxing, soothing music. Watching from Alcalá la Real. Well, there we go. Which is, I think, in Jaén. Not sure. Let me know. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Next piece of news. The best 10 cities in Spain to invest in tourist accommodation. With 2023 promises to be a very advantageous year for holiday home rentals. Investors are already on the hunt for the most attractive cities, with time to make the necessary renovations and changes to have a property ready for next summer. Suoma Invest, an investment service for short, medium-term rental properties, has carried out this research and has come up with the 10 best areas to invest in holiday rentals in 2023. And the cities are Málaga, Torremolinos, Sitges, Fuengirola, Mijas, Benalmádena, Almería, Marbella, Santa Pola, and Benidorm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities on the Costa del Sol, the best places in Spain to invest in tourist accommodation, according to this report from Suoma Invest. So if you've got some money to invest and looking to get a holiday rental here in Spain, rent it out for 12 months of the year, I reckon you could probably rent it out in some of those places down there in Malaga City especially. Those are the best cities, and 6 of them, as I said, were on the Costa del Sol. And the other ones, where are they? Sitges, Catalonia, Almería, Andalusia, Santa Pola, I think in Alicante, and Benidorm, also in Alicante. So Alicante, Andalusia, a place where they think it's a good idea to invest your money in holiday rentals. So interesting, as I said, for people that have got money to invest. Dave coming in from Madrid. Hello, Dave. Hope all is well. Ted coming in as well. What else? Randy coming in from Valencia. Arrived in Valencia, did Randy. Yvonne coming in from La Marina. Lenny coming in from San Francisco. What else we got going on here? Daryl, City fan in the chat as well. And Brian also here with coming in from a damp La Marina down there in Alicante. So I'm getting the idea that the majority of Spain wet and damp today. Word of the day related to the weather. We can put this one into our vocabulary almost straight away. Borrasca. Borrasca. Storm, low pressure area. Squall, it's also been translated to. La borrasca Efraín dará mucho que hablar en los próximos días. Storm Ephraim will be the talk of the town in the coming days. That's the storm that I think we're currently experiencing here or are going to experience over the next couple of days. Efraín. La borrasca Efraín dará mucho que hablar. So, we've got to prepare for this. Borrasca. One of those tricky words for non-Spanish people to pronounce because of that double R, the R, difficult for me to pronounce, borrasca, and a lot of people have trouble getting their tongue around that double R sound. But anyway, that is a word that we can incorporate almost immediately into our vocabulary. La borrasca que viene, the storm, squall, or low pressure area. All right, what else we got going on here? Jason coming in from Wolverhampton in the UK. Ken, finally in, a little bit late, but joining the chat now. Erica talking about the military things that are going to take place in Spain. Let's have a look at this one here. If 5,000 troops, will it be in the Bardenas Reales? Can't see so many troops in other places. What the heck? Why? We don't need such expenses taking into account the economic situation of Spain. Yeah, well, Spain's increased its military budget, Erica, as we know, over the last year. I think in the latest state budgets, a 2% increase, I think, to the military budget. And obviously, this is where some money's going, and the European Union putting together a military organisation, which will be coordinated centrally, I imagine, rather than the probably similar to NATO. I imagine it would work in that way, but without the United States. I imagine that is the objective of the European Union because they need to be able to protect their borders after what's happened over the last year or so, in 2022 especially. I think that's what has made them hurry up with this, I would say. But you're right. Where are they going to be training? Who knows? What else we got going on here? Renan coming in from California. What else? Ed, sorry, talking about maybe sexist. Maybe should have said, hi, everyone. Not sure, Ed. Got to be careful what you say nowadays. Somebody will pick you up on basically anything that you say nowadays. Got to be careful. What else we got going on here? Daryl saying that Moroccan fans were happy last night in Spain. They painted the town red. No trouble reported. I have seen that, Daryl, that they were celebrating last night, of course, their victory over Portugal. Morocco seems unstoppable at the moment. Nobody would have predicted this, and anybody that had money on Morocco to get to the semi-finals, I'm sure, is going to be cashing in. But I have heard of positive reports of Moroccan celebrations around Spain. Not so in France, not so in Belgium, unfortunately. Don't know what the difference is. But here in Spain, I think the behaviour has been under control from Moroccan football supporters. Obviously, very, very happy that they're in the semi-finals. Absolutely. All right, like button back on the screen here quickly. If you haven't done so, please, just below the video, you'll see the like button. If you can, give it a thumbs up. We'll see if we can get the count over 100 today. Let's see what we can do. Let's see. All right, good. Now, first comment that was left on a video recently. This one here from Catman. Why are we called expats? Question mark. Are we not immigrants living in another country? Question mark. Again. Yeah, good question, Catman. A lot of people get triggered by the word expats. Not sure why. When we talk about foreign residents living in another country, whether you call them foreign residents or whether you call them expatriate, expatriado, same word exists in Spanish because it's a Latin expression. And The Guardian a few years ago asked the same question, as we can see here. Why are white people expats and the rest of us are immigrants? What is an expat? And who is an expat? Well, according to Wikipedia, an expatriate, often shortened to expat, is a person temporarily or permanently residing in a country other than that of the person's upbringing. The word comes from the Latin terms ex and patria. So there we go. Simple as that. It's a Latin expression used for people that are temporarily or permanently residing in a country other than that of the person's upbringing. So that's everybody. So, you can call yourself whatever you want. If you want to call yourself an expat or a foreign resident or an immigrant or a migrant, whatever you want to call yourself, you are free to do so. But people get triggered by this word expat because it's tend to be associated to a certain group and not to other groups as well. You don't hear about Moroccan expats. You hear Moroccan immigrants. You don't hear about, African expats. You hear about African immigrants. And I think that's used by the press for a reason. Whereas, as we saw here, the question, why are white people expats and the rest of us are immigrants? Asked the question back in 2015. Not sure, but to be honest, I don't really call myself anything. When people ask me, I don't say that I'm an expat. I just say that I'm living in Spain. That's it. Do I call myself an expat? Probably no. Do they call them expat communities? Probably yes. Is there a problem with that? I don't have a problem. As I said, some people seem to be triggered. And Catman may be one of those people. Doesn't like the expression. All right, let's move on. Let us know what you think. Expat, immigrant, foreign resident. What do you call yourself? Let us know if you're living here in Spain and it's not your country of origin and you are indeed an expatriate. Let's have a look. Kirk, Gulf Coast. Thank you, Kirk, for showing us where exactly in Florida you are. Tampa. I know a few places. I've been looking at the map of Florida recently, getting the location under control. Big state. The city that got hit by Hurricane Ian at the end of September. We're mostly still here. I hope that you're all okay after that hurricane. I remember seeing the images, devastating images on the television. Kirk, thank you very much for that and for letting us know exactly where you are. Zoe heading to Mojaca in Almeria for the first time soon. Good luck with that. And Chris is saying that borrasca sounds too much like the Spanish word for drunk, borracho, so I prefer tormenta to refer to storms in Spain. There we go. Borrasca, borracho. Okay, a bit of a difference, and I'm sure Spanish people don't get confused with those two words, but we might, Chris. Absolutely. Thanks for your input. All right, what else we got going on here in the comments? Michael, hi Stu, I'm Irish and I've been living in Spain for the past 4 years. Because I speak English, most people think that I'm English and I have been treated very respectively by the Spanish. I have travelled around the world and I can honestly say you won't find such kind, gentle people as the Spanish. I suspect the nasty British press is putting poison in their minds of their gullible followers. Keep up your fabulous work. Always enjoy the videos. Yeah, this refers to the controversial comment last week from Margaret, I think her name was, saying that she hopes Spain collapses and Spain is treating people from the United Kingdom or English people badly at the moment. Hotels closing around the country. We're in dire straits here in Spain. And I came to the conclusion, I don't know because I haven't spoken to Margaret directly, but I suppose that she's been stirred up by negative British press or anti-Spanish sentiment in certain British press. And you only have to go to the internet, put in Spain in a search, and all of these articles pop up about how bad things are going here, how bad it is living here, all of these complaints. And I think there's some type of campaign on in the UK. Some people say it's to make British people stay there and spend money in the UK. Not sure. Some people say it's because of the Brexit, fallout from Brexit. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of press in the UK very anti-Spain, and I imagine it's anti-European Union in general, and people like Margaret get sucked in thinking that Spain is deliberately going out of their way to do bad things to people from the UK because of that. I don't think it's true. And as we see in that comment here, Michael, Irish, because of the way he looks, everybody thinks that he's English. Same for me, the way that I look, everybody here thinks that I come from England or the United Kingdom. Nobody would say that I come from Australia, maybe the United States, but the majority think that I come from England, of course. And I get treated like everybody else. I don't think there's any discrimination, and as we can see here, been treated very well by the Spanish over the years has Michael, so no complaints. And 99% of the feedback to that comment by Margaret was positive from people living in this country, happy living here, happy with the way they're treated, and can't understand why the press is so negative, or some press is so negative about Spain. Can't work it out. But anyway, all right, now let's have a look at another backdrop. This one here from Iggy, regular Sunday viewer is Iggy. So we'll put his photo up. This is Estepa, which is in Andalusia, close to Antequera in the Malaga province. And we can see here the Christmas decorations are up. So thank you very much, Iggy, for sending that one in. A regular contributor with the pictures is Iggy. And we'll just put the email address up again. I'll just put this up a bit higher. So spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send them in if you've got a picture of Spain, whether it's a Christmas decoration here in the center of a town or city here in Spain, or whether it's a coastal shot, whether it's a rural shot. Send it in, and we'll put it up on the background here. And had some fantastic photos sent in over the last couple of months that we have been doing this. So thanks everybody for that. Now, back into the chat section here quickly. City fan, never been able to do the double R sound in Spain. Difficult for a lot of us, Daryl, let's be honest. It's not easy to get our tongues around that, considering that our, in English, or at least the English that I speak, maybe it's a bit different in Scotland, they have a trill. But the R that I speak is that. It's an R. It's not a R, which does make it difficult for a lot of people. And the word dog, for example, as Daryl points out here, difficult. Michelle coming in from a sunny Vigo. I've got one of Michelle's pictures coming up soon. Not today, but maybe next week. Shangian coming in from Ballarat. Ian, Ballarat, Victoria, I believe. I don't think there's another Ballarat in the world. I could be wrong, but Ballarat, Victoria coming in here today. So Victorian viewers in the chat. Ken coming in from, talking about Mohaka being a nice place. It is indeed. Anna coming in from London in the UK. And what else we got going on here? Jacqueline from Albox in Almeria. So plenty of activity in the chat section, which is fantastic. Now we're up to 108 likes. I'll see if I can get that out, which is also great. We've got over the 100 mark, so thank you very much for that. I'll put the little like icon on the screen now. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so just below the video. And we'll see if we can get up to around 120, 130 today, which would be fantastic if we could. Now, another comment. Let's have a look. From Chaz. I was sad to see the need for security bars and screens on windows and doors in the video. It certainly detracts from the attractive views of the area. Of course, this is not a particularity unique to Spain and Madrid. A symptom of our turbulent times in our world. Yeah, I think this refers to a video, or one of the many videos that I've done where I walk around my local neighborhood and you see people with steel bars on the windows and doors. Security, yeah. Somebody said that it's a characteristic of Spanish architecture. Not sure, because here it's about 50-50. The people that have got... some people have alarms, some people have bars on their windows, some people have both. Some people have thick glass that's difficult to break, but people look for security measures for their homes. And I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again, that when we first bought this home close to 20 years ago now, one of the first people that knocked on the door when we got the keys was the guy that installs bars on windows, and we decided to take him up on his offer, as did the people on this side. People on this side didn't. They put in security windows, but probably 50% of the urbanization, or the residential group of houses that are all similar where I live, 50% I would say put these steel bars on the windows, and it is a characteristic. And what's the reason? Well, I think it's because people like to open the windows in the summer and not have to worry about somebody jumping in. Now, where my parents live in Perth, Australia, nobody has bars on the windows. They're open windows. People open the windows up in summer. Do people get robbed in Australia? Absolutely they do. Do people get robbed in Perth where my parents live? Absolutely they do. My sister's been robbed. My parents have been robbed in the last 2 years. Fortunately, where I live, not many. You don't hear about a lot of home break-ins. Maybe it's because of the area that we live in. Maybe it's because people have these security aspects. Maybe it's because, as I said, people have alarms, bars on the windows, deterrents. Not sure. But all I know is that if I compare breaking and entering in Perth, where my family lives, as I said, my sister's been broken into, my parents have been broken into, but here where I live, haven't heard any stories. Touch wood, that it doesn't become a problem, but that's the difference. So, yeah, is it ugly? Perhaps. Is it a deterrent? Yes. That's the reason, I think. But anyway, thanks for the comment. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look if we can find something else here quickly. Talk about expats and immigrants. A lot of chat going on there. Good to see. 100 thumbs up, says Peter. Absolutely. Donald coming in with Josephine from a damp Denia. Damp, as I said before. Donald everywhere at the moment. What else we got going on here? City fan Daryl saying that the Daily Mail always makes negative stories about Spain for the sake of it. Absolutely, that's the character. That's what I see. Absolutely, Daryl. Don't know what their gripe is, but very anti-Spanish. What else? Debbie coming in from Los Angeles, back from 3 months in Spain. Back in the States is Debbie. Somebody coming in from Dubai there. Good to see. And Andres coming in from a stormy Pasadena, California. Now, 31-minute mark, 129 likes. I'll put the like button up one more time. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so just below the video. And we'll see if we can get that tally up a little bit more over the next 5 minutes or so that we have left with this live stream. Now, another comment. This one here from Bill. Stu, I believe Spain did have a constitution under Franco, but it wasn't for democratic government. There were 2 referendums during his rule on constitutional changes, but they were hardly free and fair. Yeah, this popped up the other day. I think I made the remark that I don't think Spain had a constitution under the Franco regime, which lasted for 40 years, as we know. But apparently, according to Bill, they did. So my mistake for getting that one wrong, but obviously it wasn't a democratic constitution like we have in place now. And this popped up because last Tuesday was Constitution Day here, the 6th of December, the day that the current constitution was formed or signed off on, I think. And that's what we celebrate here in Spain every 6th of December. The 8th is a holiday as well, as we know. We spoke about that last Thursday. But that's why this one popped up. So thanks, Bill, for pointing that out, that in Spain there was a constitution back in that time, but obviously they had to get a new one in when democracy took hold here in Spain. In, I think it was 1978 that constitution, that the current constitution came into force. So there we go. Thank you very much for that. Now, what else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Ed, adding to the expat debate. Been living here for a long time and personally never would have used the term expat to describe myself, nor have the Spanish used the term to describe me. Nothing against the word. Yeah, I think it's a harmless word. As we saw, it comes from Latin, so it's been around for a long time, and it's used to describe people that don't live in their country of origin. They are, expatriated, as we saw from the patria. Good, thanks for that, Ed. What else we got going on here? Killian saying that he's always found the Spanish very respectful to an English speaker. There we go. Even more so when you tell them you're Irish. Fantastic. Daryl doesn't like being called a giddy. No, nobody likes being called a giddy, but according to a lot of Spanish people here, it's a friendly word that they use to describe us, Daryl. People that look like myself, pale skin, fair hair, blue eyes, giddies. Doesn't matter where you come from, you're a giddy. All right, good. But again, unless it's used with another adjective, I don't think people mean much harm by it. It's just a common word. All right, Iggy, thanks for putting the picture up, Stu. No problem, Iggy. Hope you enjoy it there in the background. What else we got going on here quickly in the chat section? Let's have a look here quickly. Richard says that he doesn't mind being called a giddy because it's usually made in a friendly way. There we go. I'm a giddy and always be a giddy. Yeah, so just the way that you take it, I think. I did a video 4 or 5 years ago on the topic of giddy and how the word can be interpreted. And a lot of Spanish people replied in that video saying that it's just the word that we use. We don't mean any harm by it. But again, people can be offended if they want to by any word nowadays. And giddy is a word that can offend. And, there are other words as well, which I won't mention here. But anyway, we all know what they are. I might say a word not thinking that I'm offending somebody, but if the other person is offended, that's what happens nowadays. Good. Erica, been in Spain. Now I'm Spanish for Spain. I still feel a foreigner and was born from 2 foreign parents, France, my inherited nationality and still valid, and New Zealand. There we go. So Spanish now for Spain feels Erica. Thank you very much for that. So plenty of action in the chat section today, which is great. Fantastic to see. So thanks, guys, for participating there. Now, we're up to 141 likes. I'll just put the like icon one more time, see if we can get up to 150. Haven't hit the 150 for a while now, so please hit the like button. We'll see if we can get 150. And I'll just put the little email address up there as well, that if you like Iggy and you've got a picture of Spain that you would like sent in, here's the email address here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send it in, and I will eventually get around to putting the photo up in the background. But again, please, the size is important. 16:9 ratio, please, if you can. Not the typical Instagram photos, which are a different ratio, and they don't fit well on the back screen here. So 16:9 if you can, which basically means that when you take a photo, hold the camera like this. If it's a phone, not like this, okay? So that's the difference there if we want to get a decent shot up on the background here. All right, now, final comment. Let's have a look. From Bill, we just saw that one. One here from Elaine. Stuart, great video. I was wondering what time you walked, not a person in sight. Also, what part of Madrid do you live in? It looks very suburban. Is it quiet? How long does it take to get into downtown? Have you done a video already on this? Thanks for your informative content. Well, Elaine, I'll tell you quickly. I live about 17 kilometers from the center of Madrid. The center of Madrid is the Puerta del Sol. That's where all of the roads in Spain start, and I'm about 17 kilometers away along the Valencian highway. So if you take the Valencian highway from Madrid, you will end up in the city where I live, which is around 95,000 people now. It's quite a, it's not a huge city, but it's a lively city now. It's called Rivas. It's on that Valencian highway. And if you've ever driven from Madrid down to Valencia or Alicante, more than likely you have had to stop in a traffic jam at this part of the highway, Rivas Vacia Madrid. To answer some of the other parts of your question here, what time do I walk? Well, I normally head out early, around 8:45, 9 o'clock, 9:15 at the latest, because I've got a dog and she wants to get out and about really at that time of the day. And I also like to do things before there's, a lot of people around. Although, as you also said here, it looks very quiet. Well, it's quiet because the place that I live here, it's in Spanish they call it a ciudad dormitoria, commuter town, if you like, in English, or a place where people sleep but they don't work. So every morning of those 95,000 people that live here, probably 60,000 hit the highway and go to some other part of Madrid. Whether it's the center of Madrid, whether it's the north of Madrid, the south of Madrid, they head somewhere else. They don't work here. So it's a commuter city. And that's why it's quiet. And the town that I normally walk through, which is, there's only about 50 or 60 houses there, you don't see many people because a lot of people in that part of the town are retired, and they don't normally start their days until 10, 11 when the weather gets a bit better. That's one of the reasons why you don't see many people. Suburban, yeah, absolutely. How long does it take me to get into downtown? Well, it depends on the traffic. If there's no traffic, I can be in the center of Madrid in around 15, 16 minutes by car. And if I take public transport, I can be in the center of the city in around 40 minutes. public transport. So that's where I'm living. 17 kilometers out from the centre, 40 minutes by public transport to get into the centre, and 15 minutes by car if there's no traffic. If there's traffic, if there's a traffic jam, and there quite often is during the week, peak hour times, 45 minutes probably to get into the centre, because it's a slow trip. But again, it depends on the time of the day. If you go in at 11 o'clock, there's no problem. But if you go in at 8:30, you're going to hit a traffic jam. But that's where I'm living, and it is a quiet place. Even though, as I said, 95,000 people living here now, traffic's quite intense, but it's okay. And I prefer living out here than downtown Madrid, which can be very, very crowded the majority of the times. Has its pros, has its cons, as we saw in a video last week that I did in a restaurant with Dave. Has its pros. You've got everything at your fingertips in a city like Madrid, whereas here you have to either walk, car, or bike to even buy something like bread. So that's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's where we live. Thanks for the comment. Now, plenty of activity in the chat section. Sorry that I can't get through everything here. I'm going to start to wrap the live stream up. Thank you very much for your participation today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for participating in the chat section. Thank you very much for hitting that like button. I'll see you guys again on Tuesday, a little bit earlier because there's a football game on at 8 p.m. So around 7:20 I think we'll start. But hopefully I'll see you guys again then. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adiós.